166 of Gracefully and Frankly. Hi there, I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brantz, and there have been a lot fewer exploding cars and people having to shelter in place here than what you have had in your area. Erin.
Oh my goodness.
Everything's fine in Nuevo Vallarta and things are back to normal now, I suppose?
Yeah, they seem to be. As of Tuesday, there were flights going in and out of Puerto Vallarta, Manzanillo, and Guadalajara, which is great because Guadalajara is the third largest city in Mexico. So that's a very busy airport, and a lot of people sort of transfer in and out of there, as well as Mexico City, of course. But yeah, it has calmed down. It calmed down almost immediately after Sunday's big events with the cartels and the National Guard. Fortunately, there were no civilian casualties that we've heard of. There were a number of National Guard who lost their lives, and of course, cartel members as well. But yeah, there was a code red, and as of recording this, it hadn't officially been lifted in downtown Puerto Vallarta, but you can be sure now as you're hearing it that it has been, because things pretty much returned to normal on Tuesday.
We talked to, and by we, I mean one of the radio stations I do news for, not me, a couple who were there and actually in Puerto Vallarta itself, and they were walking along the Malecon, which is just gorgeous and right on the water, and there's so much to see. And she said she suddenly got this eerie feeling that they were almost alone. And then she turned to look down one of the streets and there was a car on fire. And she turned to her husband and said, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I don't feel right out here. I think we should go back. And that's exactly what they did. Things had just started to get weird and they happened to be outside at the time. But this particular cartel, they're a young cartel, the new generation cartel, and they're known for not trying to hurt people, but for certainly launching drone missile things and setting things on fire. Like, they're not the quiet, let's stay under the ground, under the radar type. They want to be known.
Absolutely. They have rocket launchers, and it doesn't get more serious than that.
No.
And of course, they were angry because El Mencho was taken down on Sunday morning.
That was their leader.
Yes, it sure was, and the biggest in all of Mexico. So what happens next is the big question. Will there be a war between the North and the South? Will this just kind of fade away? Because what people, I think, don't realize, and you know this, and I know this, that coming to Mexico generally is safe.
Oh, yeah.
You choose your locations, you look at the maps, you listen to what the governments say, and Puerto Vallarta has always been this beautiful hibiscus blossom of peace. And it's truly gorgeous, and the people are wonderful. The people throughout Mexico are wonderful, for the most part, of course. But they're just hardworking, lovely, kind people. And they are the ones who are most affected by this because now, rightly or wrongly, and you can't judge people's decisions, Canadians are going to say, I'm not sure about that. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. And that hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, it does. Mexico is just the kind of country, like I suppose a lot of other sort of tropical vacation spots, where you don't go, oh, we're going to throw on a backpack and go where nobody else is around and camp for a couple days or something, you know. You have your wits about you, do a little bit of research before you go. But as far as being in those cities or where you are, anything completely, perfectly safe, there's absolutely nothing to worry about there. But this was kind of unprecedented since the year 2000 or so for tourists to be affected like this, wasn't it?
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
and the worst side effects for tourists, besides the fear, were misinformation, AI fakery, and being held at their hotels and not being able to fly home and keep to their schedules and such. But I would like to know what happened to all the staff of the hotels who had to stay on 24/7 to take care of the visitors.
Yeah.
And I really hope that they were compensated and hopefully overcompensated in terms of tips and gratuities, because these people, these are their livelihoods, and it's so unfair to them. Now, my sister in Guadalajara area, Ajijic, near Lake Chapala, her internet was taken down on Sunday, and she said that poles had been removed. Now, I'm not sure whether they were taken down by the government or the cartel. But so their internet is connected the old-fashioned way. So she was a lot more alarmed than I was. I was in this pocket of peacefulness and just kind of staying in the house with the curtains drawn, not going up on the roof to see what was happening in Puerto Vallarta, and just, staying safe. The girls and I were fine.
Yeah.
And just not worrying. Rob at home was more worried than I was. People on Facebook were more worried than I was, and it's wonderful to have people wrapping their arms around you. But still, as of Tuesday, people were saying, stay safe. And it's like, we are safe. So it's a kind wish. And I understand that. But I feel safe. I really do.
Well, we see the pictures of cars on fire and people with bandanas over their faces and guns and stuff. And it does give you pause, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I love? One of the things I love about this story, though, is that El Mencho's romantic partner gave him up. So she has probably got the bounty that was on his head, and she goes dancing away happily while all this stuff happens.
It'll be interesting to see what happens to her. We may never hear. She may have been taken into the United States because the U.S. had its little orange fingers in this as well.
Right. So she might be in the witness protection program or something. Who knows?
Or she'll be pulled off the streets by ICE as somebody who doesn't have white skin. But you don't know really what's going on, who's behind it, and what's happening. But yeah, it's funny, the things that you notice when you're in lockdown. And one of the biggest things for me was the silence, Lisa. And in our area, there are some bars around. They're quite a ways away, but sound travels, and the joyous sounds of music are almost always going on someplace where they're either a live band or karaoke or just music playing. And I noticed that on Monday night, it's like there was no music playing anywhere.
Nothing.
If that isn't sort of an analogy for the spirit of Mexico and how it was kind of squashed under the heels of this event. Also, in our neighborhood, there's a lot of construction going on because it's really a vibrant and growing area of complexes and such. Not to hear a sound, not a hammer, not a drill, not a saw, not a thing, not the boisterous voices of workers around calling out to each other, none of that. And that kind of silence reminded us of the days of COVID when we were in lockdown, or even after 9/11 when, of course, the skies were empty.
Yeah.
It's what's not there that you notice the most.
Wow. Freaky.
Yeah. Yeah. Something else that really came to the fore for me, and I think so many Canadians take this for granted, hopefully after the Olympics they do not, but it is our CBC. And it really seems like down here there's not one central source for information that you can go to and say, okay, what's the latest? I kept asking my sister, okay, where are you getting your news? What are you hearing? And she said, well, Facebook. And you and I both know anything on Facebook is any rando posting anything, right?
Of course. And any rando posting is not necessarily enlightened.
Exactly. Or just out and out lies like the AI fakery, the footage of things on fire that weren't, and stuff like that. So I said, wait, you just want me to trust some rando on Facebook? So at the risk of sounding like a foil hat wearer, I did my own research.
Yeah, but you really did. You didn't say you did your own research about something without doing medical research or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
You look into the source. You find out where it's coming from.
Yes. So I found a news outlet, the Banderas Tribune or something, and it would be updating regularly. Where was the code red, where it's been lifted, what the government is recommending, if flights are coming in and out. So that's what I used as my source of accurate information. I tried watching Mexican news.
Oh, how did that go?
Well, because I couldn't get the subtitles setting on, because of course it's not Netflix, I had more luck understanding the guy doing the hearing impaired signing than I did the the actual government officials.
They go so
Now,
fast, you know?
I know. Despacio, por favor. But the president is very articulate, speaks slowly and clearly. So I understood Sheinbaum more than I did any of the government officials. So that was good. Look for the correct source and don't listen to everybody whose hair is on fire, figuratively speaking, right?
Right, exactly. Well, I'm glad that all tourists seem to be safe and that it's over for you and for the girls. So what did you do during this time? Did you write your little heart out, or what'd you do?
Well, I wrote one story for Drift. I wrote 2 blogs because I had one ready to go on Monday. And then I went, no. I think there's something else I have to write about, which is the situation I'm in. I mean, it's not often you find yourself in a place where the focus of the continent, at least, is on you. But mostly we just stayed cuddled up in the bedroom. I would go downstairs with one light on because, this house I'm in is a lot of windows.
Yes.
And we're not exposed to the street. I should say that. We're in a gated neighborhood. And if somebody wanted to come in here, it'd be super easy. There's just beautiful Alejandro at the gatehouse. And I don't know if he's armed or not. My host here didn't know either. And it doesn't really matter because if you're facing somebody with a rocket launcher, you might as well put your hands up.
That's right.
But that didn't happen, of course, here in little Nueva Vallarta and Jarataderas. We stayed in our room and we watched TV, and we're halfway through season 2 of ER.
Oh, great.
And I'm very happy to tell you that both Dottie and Livy are now able to fix or stitch up that finger of yours that you injured with, ironically, avocado. What were you doing?
Well, you know how sensitive I am to medication. Like,
Yes.
if I take a Tylenol, I have to nap. The night before, I'd had some muscle cramping, and I took a muscle relaxer. And I knew when I woke up that I felt stupid. I just was feeling dopey and not quite myself. And I put an avocado in my hand. I never cut avocado this way. I put it in my hand and took the knife through it right into my hand, into my thumb. And it was just stupid, but it bled so much. I actually Googled whether I should go get it stitched up because it was kind of deep. But anyway, it bled for a long time. I finally got it around. It wasn't that big a deal, but it just, they look worse than they are.
Oh, I'm sorry
Just
to hear
dumb.
that.
Dumb.
I can tell you that Dr. Mark Green taught me just the other night that after a certain number of hours, you can't get stitches because there's too much of a chance for infection. So you have to wait 3 or 4 days, and then they do a late stitching job on it. So I
Wow.
was thinking of you.
Well, somebody on Facebook said to me, cut towards your chum, not your thumb, because you can replace your chum and not your thumb. So, I'm getting good advice everywhere.
What's your chum?
Your friend.
Oh, I see. So yeah, I stayed in bed, me and my pillows. 2 of them had Rob's envy pillow and mine. So it felt like home. It felt comfortable, and I was really grateful not to be worried. But I was grateful for that bit of home, the girls and my envy pillows too.
Well, no matter where you go, if you take your envy pillow with you, it will make it feel like home. And that's the beautiful thing about being in a hotel room, or even like you are in somebody else's house. You might have to succumb to whatever their mattress is like, but your pillow can be just like it is at home.
You just never know when you're traveling if you're going to have a delay at the airport. Put something on the floor, put your envy pillow there, and you get to drool in public while everybody else is walking around and worrying about when the flight connection will actually happen. Traveling with your pillow is traveling with a piece of home. And we're going to give you a piece off, 10% off, by using the code GF when you go to envypillow.com. Don't leave home without it. Has anybody ever used that slogan before, Lisa?
No, it's a brand new original one.
Yeah. Do you think Prince Andrew had his own pillow? Oh, no, he didn't even spend a night in jail, did he? Can't even call him Prince Andrew. What is it? Andrew Mountbatten Windsor something or other?
The artist formerly known as Prince, yes. So he's been arrested and they've been searching his homes, but he doesn't have charges against him. And I was listening to a sort of in-depth podcast about this, and one of the guys who was his right-hand man at the time has disappeared.
What?
Another one who probably knows where all the, memos are buried is available, making himself available. But doesn't this strike you kind of like when they got Al Capone on tax evasion instead of on murder? So they're not going to get Andrew on raping underage women. They're going to get him on sharing state secrets?
Yes. Well, that too can cause a house of cards to fall, right? So you get
Right.
him on what you can get him.
I guess. He hasn't been charged, but it seems that when he was a trade envoy for Britain, he was sharing insider secrets with Jeffrey Epstein. And when you look at what Fergie was sharing in those 3 million documents, Fergie begging him for a job and saying, marry me, to Epstein,
Oh,
all this, it's
God.
no wonder they got along so well. They are both disgusting, awful people. Yeah.
Honestly.
So he's been linked with Epstein for 25 years. But the funny thing that I thought was that this is the first time a British royal has been arrested in almost 400 years. Now, some people will say, oh, Princess Anne got those traffic tickets. Well, that's not the same. Nowhere near as big. So the last one was King Charles I. In 1646, they captured him. They imprisoned him in 1648. And he was tried and executed for treason.
Wow.
And before that was Mary, Queen of Scots in 1586, and she was apparently supporting a plan to assassinate Queen Elizabeth. They also took her head off, and hers was terrible because they missed the first time.
Oh, jeez. And I don't know that she actually was. There was so much framing and lying going on. If you thought that your children were plotting against you, send them to the tower. Not always a bad idea.
And not to mention, if you showed any sign of mental illness, you were a witch. So anyhow, if execution is sort of the pattern, I don't think that's going to happen with Andrew, but he's going to lose everything, especially with the king saying that he will cooperate.
Yeah.
Is it true that he said, you can't arrest me, I'm the queen's second son, or was that more fake news?
Yeah, I don't believe anything that I hear.
I don't either.
All I believe is that photo of him looking like a deer in the headlights in the back seat of the car. He should have gone face down. This I know from watching enough TV and movies about arrests and stuff, but there he was. That was the bazillion-dollar photo, right? And he deserves every bit of humiliation. But do you remember, Lisa, when we were in high school and Randy Andy was going to college in Peterborough, and it was just... It was such a big deal. We were so honored that the Queen and Prince Philip had chosen Canada and Ontario to school him.
I don't know. It's a strange life they have, and the sense of entitlement. They either seem to go full service and here I am, use me, this is my job, or they turn into Andrew.
Yeah. Well, imagine being the spare, right? You've got no job, all the time in the world, all the money in the world, all the respect, everybody doing your bidding all the time. It would be miraculous if you didn't turn out like a spoiled brat. But you're old enough to know better. And clearly he wasn't. Oof. Let's change the topic to something happier. You sent me a beautiful meme about happy people this past week. And I love that we share stuff with each other without thinking that this is some sort of an underhanded message from Lisa for me to lighten the hell up.
No, I just thought it was neat because this is the way I find myself going.
Yeah.
And I hear this from other people too. So this is a doctor, Caroline Leaf, who shared this. She says, something I've realized about genuinely happy people, they're doing less. Fewer goals, fewer appointments, fewer obligations. They've learned that subtraction works. While you're optimizing every minute, they're on the porch drinking coffee. They're not lazy. They've just figured out most of what we chase doesn't matter. Busy is a choice. Peace is too. One looks successful. The other actually is. I don't know, Erin, but I think this is also a product of the time in our lives because we've been through all this. so we can sit back and say we've learned it. And yet it's not a judgment on anyone younger or following dreams or chasing ambitions or whatever, except for the billionaires. Stop already.
Yes. Well, I got to tell you that this week I had a therapy breakthrough.
Oh.
Yeah, and it just right now occurred to me that it ties in with what you just shared from Dr. Carolyn Leaf perfectly.
Okay.
So here it is.
Yeah.
This winter, my project was to try and get more comfortable in the nothingness, in the doing less, stop striving. All of those things, especially the ones that plagued me during radio, the things to be the best, to do the best, to always get the 100%. My whole project in this winter was to get comfortable in what is happening now, which is you and me, which is drift, which is writing, which is way pared down from the life that I had. Okay.
Yes.
So here's the breakthrough. I was running a race, but I could never see the finish line. Everything that I ran, I would pass a milestone, but it wasn't enough. I had to keep going, But I just realized I've always admired marathon runners because they push through. They push through the pain. They push through the boredom. They push through the training. I've always admired them. And I just realized, Lisa, that I am in a marathon, but it doesn't have a finish line. And the whole purpose of this run is to look off at the side at the smiling faces, at the people cheering, at the scenery, at the beauty of the day. And I know this all sounds so blah.
No, it doesn't.
But this is the marathon. It's not a finish line. The running of the race at your own pace, helping people get up as you're passing them or not passing them. That's the important thing, is just to be present.
Right.
And I know that sounds...
No, don't judge it. Don't judge it.
That's my breakthrough.
That's fantastic. How do you feel?
I feel great. It's very freeing once I get my head around it.
Yeah.
To not feel like if I sleep in till 10 in the morning, that I've missed something, I'm bad, I'm lazy, just like you said there. I'm not hurting anyone.
No.
I'm doing what I always said I would do every time that 3 a.m. or 3:30 alarm went off.
Yeah.
So the race is the reward.
Right. Yeah, and removing that judgment from it. And the story you tell yourself is what matters about it. And so many times, when I've been there and stuff, you've gotten up or whatever, I want you to sleep. Like other people want you to do or linger in bed with the dogs or whatever. And
yeah.
And be your best self. I mean, that's what makes you happy. For me, it's something different. For somebody else, it's something different entirely. But, that's just wonderful.
It is. It is. And counting the blessings, knowing that I have the metaphorical money to keep entering the marathon because it costs money to run, right? So,
yeah.
And being comfortable enough too. There's just so much. And that includes being in a place where there's some fear around us right now and whatever. I knew that everything would be okay because it is. And that's where my head is this week.
That's fantastic.
Talk to me next week. Which I know you will. Hey, speaking of running races, this is a great time to remind you. And you know what? I actually think that my knees would allow me to do it now, Lisa. How old are we?
63.
Jeez. 63, and I could start training. I could be one of those late bloomers who enters the marathon, but I don't need that kind of affirmation. But I know my knees could take it. And Sierra Sil is there for athletes, hockey players, more than you could count, football players, but normal folks like you and me. Your slow marathon to the finish line, whenever it may be. Sierra Sil offers a guarantee. If you don't feel a difference in your pain management within 14 days of starting it, following directions, you get your money back. All natural anti-inflammatories.
Read all about it on their website. Find one that's right for you at sierrasil.com. Sierra, like the mountains, SIL.com. And the code GF will get 14% off your purchase.
I came across the story, Lisa, and immediately thought of you because of your father's Parkinson's disease.
Oh, yeah.
And, more than 110,000 Canadians are living with this disease, which causes muscle weakness, stiffness, and tremors, among other symptoms. But they're saying the dance classes for people with Parkinson's are getting more and more popular across Canada.
Dancing. Interesting.
Yeah, because dance can help slow the progression of the disease.
No kidding.
Yep. Experts are launching a national online arts hub that aims to connect Parkinson's patients across Canada to different programs like singing and dancing, using social services to help improve overall well-being. So if you know someone or are someone in the early stages of Parkinson's, look up dance classes and see if there is one that fits with your life. Who knows?
What a great idea.
It'll certainly add joy.
Yeah. My dad would think this is funny. His tremors got him halfway there to the jitterbug, so...
He would say that.
Yes, he would. No, that's terrific.
Oh, that's the sound of the percolator. Ooh, but sad emoji. There are no bias copies this week. But happy emoji. We didn't make it into this week's In Totally Stupid or... Twits! Oh my God. The influencers out there.
Ugh. The snake oil salespeople of the present.
Yes. So her name is it Tara Woodcocks or...
Yes, Woodcocks, yeah.
She went viral because she came up with this hack that a friend of mine, a flight attendant, told me years ago, and I'd never tried it. Do you ever find yourself in a hotel room and you haven't brought yourself enough underwear for a trip? First answer, no. You and I pack enough underwear for the apocalypse.
That's right.
It's just what we do. This woman's idea was to stuff your undies inside the hotel room coffee maker, run that hot water through it, and voila, your undies are clean. You dry them with a hairdryer, and off you go on your day. How many ways can we express that this is wrong? Do you want to start?
Well, I love coffee. And to think that the person ahead of me has just washed their underwear in the coffee maker makes me feel kind of queasy.
Kinda. Yeah. I would drink the coffee made from wild cat poop that they were trying to sell us 20 years ago before I drank something out of some influencer's drawer. Lisa, and then the stories that came out of this, that now she's being sued for $1 million. Wait, another story says $1 billion by a hotel chain that had to change all of their coffee makers because people were so disgusted by this. Okay. We can't find any truth behind that.
Right. But I would imagine if someone figured out what hotel room she was in and realized they were next, they would not be pleased at all.
So here's a question. Have you ever used a hotel bidet to do your laundry?
No.
I have. When we were traveling Europe many years ago, there would be the toilet, and then there would be that little porcelain bidet with the fountain in the middle, and that's what we would use to wash our undies. I think that is not inappropriate.
Okay.
What about the sink and some soap? Like, whatever happened to that?
I have taken my underwear, when I really needed to wash some, into the shower with me. Mm-hmm. And washed it there because what touches the underwear is getting cleaned in there. So why not?
Exactly.
But the other thing that I also like to use the shower as a clothing steamer, only if I'm also going to go in the shower. Try not to waste water.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And my favorite hotel room hack is the hangers that come with the clips on them. Use those, turn them vertically, and use the clips to hold the curtains that are never big enough together.
Brilliant idea. They always gap. Always, always.
They always do. And that first ray of sunshine is going to be right on your face like a laser in the morning. But honestly, she uses kettles too, apparently.
Oh, no. Now we have to sanitize the mugs and the coffee maker. And
the saving grace is that most hotel room coffee is just not good. They give you those little tea bag things, and they're not good. But an espresso... You couldn't fit an Envy Pillow makeup pad inside where the Nespresso cover capsule goes.
You can't even put a thong in there, you don't think?
No. So I
Okay.
think that there are going to be stickers, though, I bet, from now on that say, please do not use the coffee maker for laundry.
Oh my goodness. Probably there will be.
Yeah.
Just like they say for the hairdryer, please do not use in water.
Well, Tara, you can be the exception for the hairdryer in the water if you want. Jeez.
What a twit.
Well, that about wraps it up for us this week, and I really hope that our episode 167 next week is a little less adventurous, but huge congratulations to all our Olympians and the upcoming Para-Olympians, because that was pretty exciting too, and will be exciting again as well.
I saw a headline showing disappointment over how few medals we brought back. And as somebody who watches from the couch, I'm pretty proud of them.
Absolutely. This is a woman who injured herself in her kitchen. It happens.
I was doing a long jump cutting an avocado. What can I say?
Clearly. But you got a 10 from the Mexican judge. That was the important thing.
Thank you. All right, my dear. I will talk to you next week, and hopefully you'll get out and do a lot more walking in the meantime.
I'm so looking forward to it. Everything is great. All right. You take care.
Bye-bye.